Since we've emerged from the COVID lockdowns and all of that, one of the things I've started to do again, as I've said before, is to travel. Part of my job here as the Director of the Mission Office is to travel to places where we do projects. I also travel to MSC Parishes for the Mission Appeal. This is Mission Alive, coming from Mission Office, and I'm Roger. I went recently to Tasmania, where we have two parishes. In Launceston we have Kings Meadows, and in Hobart we have Moonah. So I did those on back-to-back weekends. And in the meantime, myself and Brother Greg linked up and we did a bit of a tour of the north and the west coast. To the parishes first. It's a routine thing. I go to the MSC parishes and I preach a mission appeal, which means I give a message and I ask for their assistance and support. In both those parishes, as in other parishes, I got a good welcome, a great welcome, and people were friendly, welcoming, went out of their way to help me, were interested in what I was doing and what I was saying, and were generous. And as I've said to them and to many others, if it wasn't for the generosity of Australian people, ordinary people, and probably people like yourselves, the office could not operate. And if it gets to the stage where there's no funding, that's okay. If God wants it that way, I'll just lock the door and I'll walk away. But at the moment, it's still going okay. And this Friday we have a board meeting where we will propose a good number of projects, and the board will probably approve them. So the parishes were very good experience. It's very good for me to get to a parish and to meet the people there and to see again the life of a parish. So all of that was good. For the trip in between, which was a bit of a holiday, and I really needed some time off, we went, as I said, to the north coast and to the west, and amazingly, we had beautiful sunny weather the whole way. When we're down at Strahan on the west coast, the weather system that we've just experienced moved through the north of Tasmania, and one fellow we met in a campsite had his tent, and early in the morning when the sun came up, he was busily pulling stuff out and putting it in the sun to dry, because he said where they were at Burnie, they had winds of 78 kilometres per hour. The rain went right through, the tent went right through everything, and so everything was wet. But we were lucky with it, and surely that part of the world, the west coast, and moving a bit inland, is a absolutely magnificent part of the world. Great wilderness, forests and mountains, a lot to see there, a lot to experience, and a lot to know about the history of those places. So that was that trip, and then a week or so before I drove down to Melbourne to do the appeal of Blackburn Parish in the suburbs of Melbourne, and again there the people were friendly, welcoming, helpful, and in all of our parishes these days we have lay ministers of different sorts who really know their job and do it well and do it with dignity, and that's always good to see, and it's good to experience and to work with people at that level. Also, while I was in Victoria, I visited some family and friends, a couple of friends that I hadn't seen for many years. It was good to catch up with them. It's good to catch up with family, and all that is important. So it's an important thing on mission too, to meet people, to be available to people, to tell stories to people, to give a message, and also then to take a break and take some time off. After that trip to Tasmania, I felt much more refreshed and ready for work, and that's part of our mission too. You can't keep going until you wear yourself out, until you have a breakdown or something, or you collapse in a heap. You have to, as everybody says to us, have to look after yourself. So I've done that, and back this week has been very, very busy, and there's much to do. More things as we go along. Thanks for being on mission with us.